Welcome to Off the Post, brought to you by Lights On Electric and Cover All Exteriors. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Anthony Mingione. And how are you?
Doing all right, Russell. How are you this evening?
I mean, other than watching the Jets every Sunday, I'm surviving. And Michael Jello, Mike, we have you.
You know how there are some sporting weekends that are really good and there are some that really suck? Well, this one really, really sucked, and I'll go into detail later.
Well, I don't think you have to, Mike. I think we know. I think our guest knows Steve Dangle from the Steve Dangle podcast. He lives in a city that's probably feeling pretty good right now.
I thought it was great. I mean,
yeah.
Like, I'm a Toronto sports fan. I don't get a lot of those, so like this is pretty good.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, while it lasts, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you never know how – I feel that way as a sports fan too. All right, so Steve, I saw you speaking out against some of the violence in the NHL lately and how – and, you know, it made me think about it. I feel like the NHL does this every preseason to sell preseason tickets, and they just let a lot more go in the preseason than they do in the regular season. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's sort of my take on it.
Like, listen, hockey's always kind of been like this. And, you know, the first Tampa, Florida game was anarchy. And then what happened? We all tuned in for the second one. You know, a few years ago, the Capitals beat up the Rangers. Rangers' ownership was furious about it. Dolan got fined $250,000 fun coupons for him. And it was, you know, as I remember it, not a very impactful regular season game. Like, I don't remember there being a ton on the line, but we were all watching it.
Right.
Because of the fights. I don't necessarily have a problem with the fights, but the NHL has a miserable officiating, but more Department of Player Safety problem here. Like, here's how I see the timeline, because this goes back to, I mean, these teams haven't liked each other for a very long time.
Oh yeah, they hate each other.
But here's how I see it. Hagel takes out Barkov in the playoffs. Hagel is suspended a game. Ekblad then concusses Hagel with a dirty hit that got Ekblad suspended fresh off of a steroid suspension.
Right.
Hagel never plays another minute in that series. Lightning are eliminated. If the debt Brandon Hagel has to pay the Florida Panthers is a debt of blood, he's paid that debt. Preseason comes, AJ Greer says, no, debt's still not paid. What happened? A fourth liner attacks Brendan Hagel. The Lightning didn't have the appropriate lineup dress to address it. Fourth liner attacks a guy who's going to be in the Olympics, guy who had 90 points last year, and no one's punished. Like, it wouldn't be the first time that a player's done that. But the whole point of having like some sort of governing body is to, like, at the end of the day, like, listen, we all love blood and guts. We love fighting. We love violence, whatever. There's some weird primitive part of us that still loves that, and we love that it's part of hockey.
I mean, more Mike than the rest of us on the panel, but yeah.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, it's a sport, for God's sake. And it's a sporting league, for God's sake. And Hagel more than paid his debt of blood to the Panthers. The Panthers said, no, you haven't. Then the league didn't do anything.
Right.
What are the Lightning supposed to do? And the answer is you get one of the craziest psychopaths in all of professional hockey in Scott Sabourin. By fluke, last year, I was in San Jose to see a couple Sharks and a couple Barracuda games in March. And all of the Barracuda had been called up to the Sharks. So the Barracuda weren't great. Sabourin was on the power play. and the Cuda found themselves down 3-0, I think, after the first period of each game that weekend. Sabourin ran around the whole time. He might have had more penalty minutes than he had minutes played. That guy's nuts. Now, I heard off the ice he's an absolute gem, but he's like a lot of hockey players. Once he gets on the ice, he's a terrible person. And he goes after force a habit. He goes after Ekblad, hammers him, and grabs him glove off and hammers him. And he gets up. And this is 2 minutes into the game. The Tampa Bay Lightning, and this is why the Lightning were fined and John Cooper were fined. The Lightning had no intention of winning that hockey game or playing that hockey game. I'm not even complaining about the NHL's fine for the Lightning or Cooper. It was a very deliberate, premeditated attack. But there's no acknowledgement that this attack did not fall out of the sky.
Here's something that Steve that I said that the league should do, that they would do in baseball. Like, baseball umpires do have the power to just call a game and say, this is it, it's out of control, no game. And that's probably what should have happened.
So Dave Jackson, who I believe is former head of NHL officiating, now I think has a job with ESPN, he was tweeting me about the Nico Mikkola thing, because in the second game, Mikkola was kicked out at the same time as 4 other players. He got kicked out of the game, stayed in the game, and didn't stay in the game with malicious intent, didn't go after anybody. But I believe it was 2 goals later, got an assist, and they had to call it back
a goal, right?
Re-kick him out of the game. And Dave Jackson goes, well, there was a miscommunication. You go back and watch it. The official gestures at the penalty box and announces on the speaker in front of a, by then, probably mostly empty building. I mean, the bench, I'm sure, was quiet. No, there was no one there. 77 Florida, game misconduct. And nothing happened to the guy. So Florida learned you can get away with anything. What did they, there were 2 fines, and I think it was a cross check and a slash.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the book on getting away with bloody murder.
Like JJ Moser got a 2-game penalty. Whoop-de-doo.
I mean,
2-game suspension, rather. Yeah.
Steve, George Peros, usually his unequal hand of justice has to do with a team that resides on the west coast of Lake Ontario. But that goes without saying. Okay, want to be topical here for the news of the day.
Sure.
And, your most recent show at SDPN. Thankfully, on YouTube, you can fast forward through the first 15 minutes of the show. That was talking about a certain event at Rogers Center. So I did that. I fast forwarded through to listen to what you Adam.
You've been howling pain for 15 minutes, weren't you there, Mike?
Nope. Yeah, all I can say is throw one up and in on Vladdy. I'm not saying hit him. I'm saying throw one up and in on Vladdy, shake him up, because that's the only way you're going to get the rock that guy and get him off his game. But obviously the news of the day was the 2-year contract extension of Connor McDavid and whatever. That didn't surprise it. I think everybody, every insider, you guys, we were saying it. He's going to re-sign at Edmonton, but it's not going to be a long-term deal. I don't think a lot of people said 2 years, and nobody said 12 and a half.
No.
So this is this is the conclusion I draw, is that this is 2 more years after the end of his 8-year deal. So he's got 3 years left in Edmonton. That's it in Edmonton. I think he's gone. I think he's going to test the market, and he's going to get paid at that point at the age, I believe, of 30. Judd Moldaver is his agent.
Yep.
Judd Moldaver represents somebody else.
Yep.
And he's got 3 years left on his contract. So, wow, they're unrestricted free agents the same year. What a coincidence, Steve.
That's just very interesting. I can't wait for them to sign matching jersey number in their contracts.
Isn't that Darren Ferris? Doesn't he do that though?
No, Darren Ferris complains and then threatens to have his client go to Austria and then does that. No, and he also stole that from Judd because he's a loser. He's just awful. He's so brutal.
Yes.
His clients are suitcases.
I recommend everybody watch the SDPN show on Marner and on Darren Ferris. It is a tour de force. It's 25 minutes of Steve laying out the case that Paul Marner, Darren Ferris, and Mitch Marner. I mean, they tried a sympathy play on him leaving Toronto for Vegas because he felt he was being threatened and whatever. And you laid out the case. That was total bullshit. Total. You know, I just recommend everybody watch that because it was anyway. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, listen, Mitch is going to have a great season, but you know what? One thing I've seen is if you're not happy, vacation isn't going to make you happy. You're just going to not be happy in Canada, and then you're going to not be happy in Jamaica. You know, you're going to not be happy in Toronto, and then you're going to not be happy in Vegas.
This sounds a lot like the Adam Sandler thing from Saturday Night Live.
What you're
You're
saying,
miserable in New York, you're going to be miserable in Italy.
what you're saying to me is I shouldn't go on vacation. But what about McDavid and Matthews going to unrestricted free agency at the same time? I mean, I'm not saying Solani and Korea that they're going to like go someplace, but in my mind's eye, I'm like, gee, they're both turning unrestricted free agents in 2028. Gee, matching contracts, 97 and 34, wearing blue and white.
I think whatever Leon said to McDavid this summer worked. I'm looking forward to that Austin Connor potential union, but it ain't happening for another few years now. You know, it's most teams in the NHL, like half the teams in the NHL are a Connor McDavid away from winning the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
But you would need to subtract from their roster in order to get McDavid in there. And if you subtract, let's say, two great players and then add Connor McDavid, well, you were a Connor McDavid away if there was no salary cap whatsoever. But unfortunately, there is. The Edmonton Oilers
will be up to 107 by then.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be more than that. In 3 years, it could be up to
more. Yeah, 107 is the next year.
In 3 years, it could be up to 120. They're saying.
Yeah. So, like, one team could easily afford both those guys.
Yes.
Without having to do anything, and that's just not quite the case yet. It's not the right time to take that swing. And some players need the security. Some players are Connor McDavid. It's going to be there for him. Like at 30, can we expect him to maybe take a dip and only score 125 points a season? Like he's the greatest player of his generation. He's going to go down as a top 5 forward all time potentially. Maybe even better than that. Like he's at 1,000+ points now.
But wait, what I don't understand, Steve, is why Mike is advocating for this, because he bitched about the percentage of cap for the core four for like 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, because
different. Hold on. What's going to be different now, Mike?
What's going to be different is this guy produces.
But you're still going to have the same cap problem.
No, Russ, because the cap is – I mean, the problem – everybody knows this. The team that was hurt the most by COVID and the flat cap was the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh,
if the cap had expanded, they would have been able to add around that core four group, and they may have been able to advance further in the playoffs. Because of the flat cap, you had $40+ million on 4 players, and they couldn't go a friggin' anywhere.
Flat cap, flat earth. It sounds the same to me.
And I was talking, and Steve, I was talking.
Right, Steve, it does.
I want to let Anthony get a question in here, but I was talking with some reporters at the arena today. You're only probably going to have 6 or 7 teams that are going to go right up to the cap. It's going to be Major League Baseball in a few years, and the NHL. You're going to have the big markets, LA, Toronto, maybe Montreal, the Rangers, Boston, Detroit. They're going to be the ones that spend up to the cap, and then the rest of them are going to be in the middle or at the cap floor, and that's the advantage that Toronto and a few other teams will have. They will spend up to the cap. The other ones won't.
I mean, it's really shaping up that after all this fuss, Bettman is going to leave the league in the exact position he found it in.
That's fair.
Except there's going to be 32 problems instead of 21.
Except the evaluations are much higher for teams.
34.
But otherwise, the cap's going to be the same.
It's
34.
called inflation, Gary. Like, I'm so not impressed by the things the NHL has done. Like, oh, look at the TV deal. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. How about look at the fact that Cooper Flagg has not played an NBA game yet, and he would be the highest paid NHL player by $1.8 million.
Yeah.
Like, Kirill Kaprizov will pass Cooper next year. So there will be one hockey player in the world making more than a guy who has currently not played a game. Like
that's depending on what happens in the NBA anyway, because they could go past Kaprizov's number very easily.
But like, is there a banana salesman who's like, oh man, the price of bananas are at an all-time high? Like, everything's at an all-time high. What are you talking about?
No, but Steve, the only thing is the NBA has China to cash those checks from. The NHL doesn't have a country like that. They don't.
Well, they've tried.
They tried.
They have tried. They failed.
Yeah.
Like, again, Gary, give me something here. Give me something here. Well, what have you done other than the most obvious thing at every turn, except for Arizona? Like, you added teams. Like, you were early on Vegas. That's good.
Yeah.
Look, I think no human in the history of humanity has done a better job making owners richer, but in terms of the health of the sport,
yeah. Steve, I know you're not a big fan of surprises. That being said, I'm going to ask you now.
Oh, I like surprises.
Oh, I know you like surprises. So here's the thing. We're going to expand this now for the NHL, and we're going to. My question is going to be, for you, which is the team that is going to be sort of the most positive surprise in the NHL this season, and the one that's going to be the unpleasant surprise in the NHL this year?
Well, I think the unpleasant surprise is the Panthers are going to be fine, even though they don't have Barkov. I don't know if that's a surprise, but it's definitely unpleasant to me. The unpleasant surprise might be that the death of the Boston Bruins has been greatly exaggerated. As a Leaf fan, it's obviously I cannot allow myself to believe that they're done and have them come back stronger and more powerful and eviler than before. Obviously, they're down Marchand.
I mean, they're not Thanos. Like, it's not like that.
They're close. No, but Swayman's is probably going to bounce back, and their defense is completely healthy.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm scared about is their depth at forward and them being able to score. If they can score,
and that's taken care of by Fraser Minton. So it's fine.
Oh my God.
Well, you know, Nikita Grubyankin is the best player on the Philadelphia Flyers.
I cannot believe that. And Tony, I need you to use your poll here. The Flyers need to stop posting Grubyankin clips because it's mean. It's sad and mad about it, and I don't like it.
But he wants everybody to kind of slow down on the whole back check, forecheck, paycheck thing. I can tell you. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be known for that now. But it's all known. Michkov mentioned it as well. And
He's
Yeah,
such a
Jenkins,
beauty.
it's gonna be interesting. Although I don't think he's gonna draw one against Florida. Speaking of big guys,
Yeah,
I
it
think
looks like he's not getting the start.
I think they saw that Tampa game and they pretty much say, yeah, we're putting in Delorier and we're putting in Hathaway, and that's that.
He would have been a legend in Toronto had they kept him around. I can't.
He's a fun player. I will say that about him. We've enjoyed watching him in preseason and how he's come along. And yeah, thanks, Steve.
And they're using
You're welcome. That was me. I put in the call to Brad.
Scott Lund's been fantastic so far.
I like him.
I like him.
He's likable. He has a limit to
listen, the end of the day with Scott, it was basically in Philly, he was sort of the guy in the room.
Right.
And going to Toronto in that room that's well established, how do you coming in, parachuting in, how do you figure that thing out? I have a feeling Lawton, once he gets back from the injury, I think he'll graft himself on even better this year now that he's more in the environment.
What pisses me off is he was sold as
everything.
True. but he was sold as the solution for third line center, and that lasted about 4 games. And then he was playing the wing on the fourth line and center on the fourth line.
Only Treliving believed that. If he'd have watched game film,
everybody was selling him and that was good.
Everybody, Mike. Nobody on this side of the world was doing it.
No, Russ, all the insiders were saying he's the third line center.
The insiders didn't watch him. That was the problem.
Russ, I listened to you. I heeded your wisdom, and I
didn't because
I did. Because I said I'm not giving up a first-round pick for Scott Lawton.
Well, you did say that, yes.
A first-round pick and
then it happened.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind giving up a first-round pick for Brandon Carlo because Brandon Carlo is a right-shot defenseman who's under contract for 2 more years, and I think he's the perfect pairing for Morgan Riley. Not this bullshit where they give up a first-round pick for a guy who's a fourth-line center. I don't care if he's from Oakville or Toronto or anywhere else. It's not a good deal. So let me ask a Leaf question here. Not McDavid, but
we didn't talk about the Leafs at all. Okay.
No. You can never talk too much about the Leafs, Russ. Don't you know that? Okay, so I'm a little puzzled about what they did today. The Sammy Blais claim on waivers, the Caden Primo claim on waivers. The Primo thing makes sense to me in the sense that they're sending Hill. They want Hill to be to play in the American Hockey League. So the Primo will be the backup until Wall comes back. We don't know when Wall's coming back, but there are not many back-to-backs in October. So, Stolarz is going to get the majority.
Primo's buddies with Craig Berube. That's the reason.
Well, maybe Russ.
No, there's no maybes.
Okay. Well, I mean, and Primo played really well for Laval last year. But okay. So, but the Sammy Blais move, clearly it's like Craig Berube likes Sammy Blais as the 13th forward better than Michael Pezzetta. And, but, it's just the Easton Cowan thing. Supposedly, they're going to bring him back up because it's an LTIR move. What is your read on the way the Leafs look going into the season?
The Easton Cowan stuff struck me as forced, like right from the beginning. Like putting him in the opening night lineup felt premature. And then he played a pretty good game, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not. And what's a shame for him is I think if Lawton stayed healthy, maybe he would have made the team because the part of the reconstruction of this roster and the change in DNA is all 4 lines were going to be able to score. And that fourth line of Lorentz, Lawton, Easton Cowan, like I don't think anyone was going to win the Art Ross, but like it was going to be capable of a lot of different things. It was going to be defensively responsible. You shelter that kid with like 2 tried and trusted penalty killers. They can all bang in some goals. If he passes the puck to them, they might even score, stuff like that. You take Lawton out of the mix and you're either moving Wad down or bringing in Kampf, and all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. And I don't think he had a strong end to the preseason. And on top of that, Yarncroke had a legitimately very good preseason, and so did Robertson. And I know Robertson always does, but even the 15 goals Robertson had last year and all his defects, there's no guarantee that a 20-year-old rookie is even that good, right? So, and you can send him down.
Right.
You can send Hildeby down. Cowan should be playing minutes. Hildeby should be playing games. To me, that all makes sense. As for Blais, it's interesting. Like, if you look at, so last season, he didn't play a single game in the NHL. He was third leading scorer in the regular season and playoffs for the Abbotsford Canucks en route to a championship. The season before in the NHL, he had 1 goal in over 50 games. But the season before that was Berube's final season in St. Louis, and also Mike Van Ryn was there. And Blais was excellent. He had, I think it was 20 points in 31 games. And let's not forget, much earlier in his career, like, he won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. Like, he played nearly half a season in the regular season, and in that playoff run, he played 15 games.
Right.
So you're looking for players you think you can win a Stanley Cup with. And if you're Berube, Mike Van Ryn, and I don't know if Mark Savard factors into that, you have literally seen it work with him. You could take a worse swing than Sammy Blais.
Yeah, and I just wrote for the Hockey News about Brad for a living and how he has structured the Leafs salary cap situation. If you look, they have 1 unrestricted free agent next year, and that's Lawton. Everybody's under contract for, I think, at least 2 years. I think Robertson's an RFA, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. But the core, the core of the blue line, the goaltenders, and every forward are locked up. There's cost certainty, and they have $20 million under the cap next year. Can you say home run in free agency? Because that's what's going to happen.
Well, I started to dream the silliest and softest of dreams. And it really seemed like they could have opened up the bank for McDavid. But that space is not a problem. No matter what, some people say. I don't know if Toronto is such a like scary media market that people are going to say no to $20 million.
It was scary when I was there.
Yeah, like friggin' Lance Hornby, like Jerry Koshan, like just terrifying group. They're set up really nice for the next couple years. The Austin stuff is scary. They're gonna get older. Those are issues that you're gonna have to take care of.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I really want to thank you for coming on. I'll just say this. Somebody, I think it was our mutual friend Jeff Merrick, who did the forward to your book that you were very kind to give me a sign at your event in St. Catharines.
Good inscription, though. I like that. As an author, I like the inscription you gave Mike. He deserved that.
Yeah. The legend part? Sure.
Yeah.
But our mutual friend Jeff Merrick referred to me as the prehistoric Steve Dangle because I started.
That's a tough word.
I'm Tyrannosaurus Rex. I started in 1997 calling Leaf Talk and went through all that and the Mike and Buffalo stuff, and then eventually wrote for Hockey Buzz for a number of years, and now me and Bill Meltzer are co-managing editors of Hockey Hot Stove. And you started with your YouTube videos, and then you went to sports, CBC and Sportsnet, and now you're managing your website. So there are some parallels there. It's just you're younger and I'm old and fat.
Well, I'm younger and fat. Like I'm very, very fortunate. And I mean, if Mike in Buffalo doesn't happen, maybe I don't happen. Like, I don't know if part of that
That's
story.
a terrible thought. That's a really terrible thought.
You're just feeding. Don't do this.
No, Mike, look what you unleashed on the world. No, like, I don't know if part of that story. Did Jeff tell you that I called into his show when I was 16?
No.
Yeah, I called into a show and I got on air when I was 16, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I think I was ranting about Nick Antropov. And
So did I.
and heading into commercial break, he goes, I don't think I've ever heard a 16-year-old so jaded. And now I'm more than twice that age, and
Still jaded.
Well,
you have no idea.
Jeff was always saying that, Mike, you always picked on one defenseman and you would just try to run that guy out of town. It was Aki Berg, Corey Cross, Anders Eriksson. I says, yeah, because they all sucked. That's
you
why.
picked pretty well if that's the list.
They all
all the way to Justin Hull.
He's on waivers. He's on waivers.
That is not a personal victory because this guy's on waivers.
Sure it is. They didn't pay the son of
Misery. This is what a miserable man loves. You just feed him.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
Steve, thanks so much.
Mwah.
Have a good one.
Oh, goodness gracious, man. All right. I wanted to mention this Ranger signing of Connor Sherry and why I think that team is a little adrift. So not only does he get signed, he gets put on the third line because Mike Sullivan's looking for defense, even though Connor Sherry was in the AHL the entire year last year, playing defense, whatever he's playing, he's not the same. And they sent down Brett Berard, who's a pretty good player and was the only spark plug the Rangers had when they called up anybody last year. And honestly, I don't know what they're doing.
But they always had that one guy who's the whisperer, like Cam Atkinson was supposed to be the torch whisperer for the Flyers. Sherry's supposed to be the Sully whisperer, I guess, in this circumstance for the New York Rangers. It's just I look at the same. It's similar principle to Sammy Blais with Toronto, not that much different. It's just
but Blais not going to be in the starting lineup.
Well, if you remember, Connor Sherry was the first PTO. He was in a PTO in July, and I said to you then, he's making this team. He says, "Oh no, it's doing him a favor."
I didn't think they'd actually do it. You were right.
Yeah, usually if it's that early, Russ, I agree with Mike in that case. That's an indication of you're going to get it. We think enough of you to try to grab you that early, and basically it's a wink, wink. We're going to sign you at the end of it. Otherwise,
I guess.
Yeah.
But again, they send down another young player. They do have Noah Laba, who's a young player who they're keeping up, who has speed, but I don't know if he has any finish. And it's I don't know what they're doing with the way they're looking at their guys.
Jan was effusive in his praise of Laba, so it's like, I mean, I haven't seen.
I've seen a fair amount of him. I think he's a very good skater. I just question his finish.
I'm absolutely puzzled by what the Sabres did today because, first of all, they put 5 guys on injured reserve. Owen Power didn't skate today at practice, and everybody thought, okay, and Lindy Ruff said, yeah, he didn't have a setback. He'll be fine. And then they place him on IR. Now, IR is only 7 days, but they put him, Samuelson, and Jordan Greenway and one other player, Luukkonen on IR with another player. And they claim Colton Ellis.
Oh.
And now they have 3 goalies, and I don't understand what they're, unless
they want to corner the market on goalies.
Unless it's some LTIR thing, they claimed him to get up to the cap, and then they waive them. But it's like they have Lyon and Georgiev. What do they need Colton Ellis for?
Well, I mean, if you saw Georgiev play, you do question why they have him. But Anybody, we'll make predictions on our next show on Wednesday. But anybody who's predicting that the Buffalo Sabres make the playoffs, give me your money because I'll take it. It's fair. Yeah. That's it for Off the Post. We'll catch everybody next time.
Take care, everybody.